Okay, I think everybody can hear me. This is John at the AFL-CIO. We have just a few people signed in today, so we can take. We're more easily able to take questions and any other things you might have. If you can hear me, if you could go ahead and press 1 on your phone keypad, and I'll see your hand raise on my end. So go ahead and just click 1 on your telephone if you can hear me. Okay. I don't see any hands going up, so let me try something else here. Okay, if you could hear me, if you could press 1 on your telephone keypad right now. Not quite sure what's going on. Lee, are you able to hear me? Lee, are you able to hear me? Okay, nobody can hear me. Okay, let's try this one more time. If you can hear me, if you could please press 1 on your telephone keypad. There we go. Okay. Sorry for that delay. I was just trying to make sure we got all the settings right. Lee, are you able to hear me right now?
Yes, I can. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you just fine. I think we're ready to go. I'll go ahead and put the hands down now. This is John with the AFL-CIO. Our training today is RePurpose 101. And I think just to save time, we'll hand it directly on over to Lee. So, Lee, it's all yours.
All right, excellent.
Whoops. You know, one thing I do need to do, Lee, I need to give you control over the screen. So let's see. All right, we're having a little issue here. Lee, did you sign on as host by any chance? Let's see.
I did not. I simply followed the link that got sent in my email. If you have another one you want me to use, that's cool. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, let's do that. If everybody could hang on just a second, I apologize for the delay. We'll go ahead and get this set up as soon as we can. And everybody can see my Outlook opening up right now. Sorry for this, folks. Okay. So as soon as Lee gets that, he'll log in, and then we'll be able to see his screen instead of mine.
Although your screen may be more exciting than my screen, John.
Let me tell you how boring my screen is right now, although I really don't have to tell you because everybody can see it right now.
Okay, I got it. I am opening up this download now. Opening. Okay. Yes, I want to open it. John, I'm getting an error message saying that the meeting has started. It won't let me. It won't let me in.
Let me send you the co-presenter. Maybe that's what we need to do.
Okay. And in the meantime, folks on the phone, we're really sorry about this. Believe it or not, we actually do this every week, multiple days a week. Not sure what's happening with this tool right now, and I'm really sorry about that. But just bear with us a few more moments. I'm sure that we get this thing running. All right, I got the other one, John.
Okay.
All right. John.
Okay.
I think we're in business, sir.
Hey, here we go. Okay, I'm giving presenting rights over to you.
All right, and I just took them from you. To the folks on the phone, once again, thank you for your patience. We apologize about that little technical error, and we're going to go ahead and get started now. Can everyone see my PowerPoint?
I can see it.
On screen too?
Let me just make sure. Folks, if you can see it, if you could go ahead and raise your hand by pressing 1. Oh, somebody has pressed 1, so yes. It looks like we're good.
All right, awesome.
Thank you so much. I'm putting the hands down, and I'll finally now hand it over to Lee. Thanks very much, Lee.
Thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and to all the folks on the phone, once again, just thank you for bearing with us as we work that out. My name is Lee Anderson. I am one of the digital strategists here with the AFL-CIO, and today we are going to talk about what I think is truly an awesome rewards program, probably one of the best ones out there, because this is a rewards program that was designed specifically for our volunteers and for our activists. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I also do just want to kind of point your attention. We always, if you look out toward the bottom of the screen there, that 1U digital training series. 1U is the hashtag that we use for any and all things that is union related on Twitter. So I'm going to tweet out in a moment that I'm doing this training with you all. And if any of the rest of you are on Twitter and you want to tweet, I totally encourage that. And just remember to use the 1U hashtag so that we're looping in all of our union family members into this conversation. I think I already talked about who I am. I am not Elizabeth Warren. I usually bring her with to do these trainings, but I think she's tied up being a senator and stuff like that. So today it's just me. I hope that's okay with you all. And yeah, we'll go ahead into it. So what is RePurpose? As I mentioned a moment ago, it essentially is a volunteer rewards program. If you think somewhere along the line of airline miles, meets, online gaming, if there are any folks on the call maybe who are familiar with things like Farmville or Candy Crush, that specifically is what we mean when we say online gaming. And we joined those two concepts with the concept of activism. And what we came out with was this wonderful tool, this program that we call RePurpose. So a little bit about how it works. Folks come in and they volunteer. The thing about this program is that it pretty much starts and ends with volunteering. And as we go on a little bit more, we'll talk about exactly how the data flows. So we'll talk more about why I say that it starts and ends with volunteering. But essentially the way the program works is that our volunteers will come in and, either they did some call time with us on a phone bank, or maybe they walked the pack on a canvas. Maybe they helped doing some worksite organizing. Whatever it is, they come in and they volunteer. Now, you'll see there the middle box says when you get home, you get an email. Basically what happens, once these folks have come in, they take action, they volunteer, that information goes into my campaigns, into the land. Once we get that data, it automatically triggers an email to those folks that basically just says, you're an awesome person. Thank you so much for coming in and volunteering with us today. Because of your volunteering, we've enrolled you into this wonderful new program. So when you get home, log into your account, check it out, and see all the wonderful things that you can spend your points on. And that's essentially just what happens here within that. So now let's talk a little bit about in fact, before we talk about the points, I just want to say that, we talked a little bit about where this basic concept came from, which, once again, is airline miles plus online gaming plus activism equals RePurpose. One of the things that we found that people in general, but particularly our volunteers, like, is to be rewarded for their action. We also found out that, people, as far as online gaming, we took a page out of their book, so to speak, in that one thing that those platforms like the Farmville and Candy Crush all of these other online games that you can find on Facebook and on mobile. One of the things that they do really, really well is encouraging interactivity between people who are on that platform, other people who are playing the game. And so we really wanted to kind of take all of those concepts and throw them together into RePurpose. So now we'll talk a little bit about the points themselves. We've got, here we see all the different ways that you can earn points. It's a screenshot of the main page of RePurpose. Some of the offline activities or things that would actually happen on the ground, maybe they're in the campaign or union office, would be canvassing shifts, phone bank shifts, if they come in and do data entry. Other things, like I mentioned, could be maybe going to a rally or, doing things like helping to facilitate a training. Some of the online activities that our volunteers can take are things like signing a petition. Maybe we sent out an email and we're asking them, hey, sign on to this to, let legislators in your state know that right to work is a bad bill. We're going to beat it back. Matching friends on Friends and Neighbors, which is the virtual phone banking tool that we've been using here at the AFL-CIO. Pledging to volunteer through the RePurpose tool is also another task that you or our volunteers can take to earn points. And last but not least, recruiting friends. Of course, because the program is awesome, we want our volunteers to tell other people about it. We want to be talking about it, but we also want to get them talking about it. We want to get them trying to engage, their friends and folks in their network to try to enroll in this program as well. And so those are some of the ways that, some of the major ways that you can earn points to be used in RePurpose. But now, of course, since you've earned the points, now let's talk about different things that they can do to actually spend the points. And we divided those up into 3 different buckets, low points, medium points, and high points. Some of the low point items are things like digital yard signs. That's probably the most inexpensive point items that we have on the site. And essentially, those are just image files. It's just an image file that we have our graphic artist design that will pretty much just speak to, whatever campaign it is that we're working on, or, particular issues that we, maybe, trying to move the ball on. But those digital yard signs are some of the most inexpensive things that are on there, and you can use your points to redeem them for those. A lot of people like to take those and, use them on Facebook as either shareable graphics. I've even seen people do creative things with, using those things on Instagram and some of the other mediums that are out there. Some of the other things that you can do, and these are a little bit higher point values, like medium, is buying online ads. It's really hard to get online, to check your email, to get on Facebook, to go to any website without seeing these online ads. The reason why is because they are extremely effective. And so one of the things that we recognize, there may be not only some real need for as far as program, but, also just in terms of, something that will be highly visible and that folks would feel good about is buying online ads. Supporting striking workers is also another medium point item that we had in there. We've actually run some campaigns and trying to support workers that had been either striking or locked out. I'm thinking of Palermo's. There was a pizza thing. They had something going on. There was also a sugar workers lockout that had happened. We enabled our volunteers via this tool to be able to support their brothers and sisters who, may have been going through a hard time or were trying to fight this particular battle. Some of the higher point items that we've made available on here are things like creating an online phone bank using the virtual virtual online phone banking tool. And another thing, and you'll see that there, it's actually the bottom, or rather the bottom item I've got there, paying for a Working America Canvas team. That was another item that did fairly well. And before I go any further, I want to talk a little bit about why we've chosen to roll this program out in the first place, but by extension, why we feel like these particular items are so important and so impactful. one of the things that we found in not only talking to our volunteers, about the things that they're doing and the actions that they're taking, but also, just kind of our own experience, as organizers and as people who have volunteered in campaigns, is that these folks are giving us everything they have. They're giving us their time, their energy, their heart, and their soul to come in and to volunteer for us. Not that there's anything wrong with bumper stickers and T-shirts, but if we want to incentivize folks, we want to incentivize them in a way that's meaningful and in a way that makes them truly feel empowered and not like they just got another trinket, another piece of swag, But we want to make our volunteers feel good and feel like I'm actually making a difference in this campaign. I am going to continue to come back and work for this campaign and continue to make a difference. This program helps us to do that. We'll look under the hood just a little bit, talk about like the accounts and stuff like that. There's an account screen that you can go into, and it gives you all of the general account stuff, your name, your email address, where you're at, stuff like that. But it also allows you to see how many points you've accrued over the lifetime of your RePurpose membership. If there are any notifications, maybe you requested a particular, an online ad or something like that. When it's ready, those notifications, in addition to it being funneled to you through email, will also be available for you and your volunteers to see here in the account screen of the program. Another thing I want to point your attention to, particularly when we, talk about some of those higher point items, this tool gives you the ability to transfer points, which is huge. As I mentioned, supporting striking workers and, supporting folks who have been, in a lockout and hiring canvas teams, those are all higher point items, and they did really, really well because, our volunteers realized that they were empowered to do this because they may not have had enough points individually, but if they all got together, they could pool those points and really do something powerful and meaningful. So that's some of what happens here. It also gives you a history as to other things you've got. You see here two of the digital yard signs that were made, one for union made things. I think that was something that we pushed out around July. It was either July 4th or Labor Day. Can't remember which one, but that also did really, really well. And it lets you see items that I didn't mean to do that, items that you've redeemed in the past, as well as the tasks that you have completed that earned you points. So when we really talk about tasks in this sense, we're really talking about not necessarily the things that you can redeem them on, but the things, the action that our volunteers and activists take to earn the points in the first place. So those are some of the things that's covered there in my account screen. So I want to go to the slide that I accidentally just flipped to a moment ago, which kind of looks under the hood to talk a little bit more about how this all works. And there's one really important bubble in here that I want to focus on, but we'll focus on it when I get to it. You'll notice there at the top, once again, as I said before, everything starts with volunteering. When our folks come in, they volunteer. We do the data entry. That stuff goes into the land, into my campaigns. From there, once we've made that data entry and that information hits the RePurpose tool, RePurpose then says, okay, great, you took these actions, so that means that you've earned X amount of points. So then they go and they get those points. And now here's the key right here is this bubble. What those points have essentially allowed our volunteers to do is to not just get stuff, not just, say, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this now, but we are essentially enabling them and empowering them to help us run program and to help us inform how we should carry on our electoral programs or our issue advocacy-based program, whatever it is that we're working on. This tool gives them the ability to do that. And then if you recall, I said everything starts and ends with volunteering. Once again, we started here. They've made it all the way around here. They've got points now. They're affecting program. They're saying, you know what? We're going to need more boots on the ground during GOTV. We need to go ahead and get a canvas team together. That has given them, that was not supposed to happen, ask me later, that has now given them the ability to affect our program, to actually have a meaningful say in how we're running our operation on the ground. And then, of course, what that does is brings them right back to volunteering. Because now they feel empowered. They feel good about what's happening on the ground. And not only do they feel good about it, but they can go home and say, you know, I made this happen. I helped to make sure that we had extra canvassers. I helped to make sure that we had a phone bank in a place where we needed it. That is the most meaningful and empowering incentive that we can give our volunteers. Once again, like I said, nothing wrong with T-shirts and bumper stickers, but we really want to give them something meaningful. We really want to make them feel like they're it, you know, because as I'm sure all of you know, it's pretty impossible for us to run the campaigns and operations that we run without the use of our volunteers. This tool really helps them to feel as needed as they really are. So we're getting ready to wrap up here. Why use RePurpose? In short, for us as organizers, because it empowers our volunteers. It provides them incentives, once again, meaningful incentives, incentives that actually feed back into that first thing, which is simply empowering them. It also reinforces best practices in terms of how we engage with our volunteers and how we're, you know, kind of bringing them along and keeping them in the fold, so to speak, as far as, you know, running these campaigns and really utilizing them and making sure that they know we need you, you know. And it also can help us as organizers build our local resources. For instance, you know, in terms of, you know, when you're putting your campaign plans together and whatnot, you may have a feeling that, you know, come GOTV, we may need some more people to come out and knock doors for us. You know, we're almost there, but we're going to need a little bit more firepower. You can actually use this program to say to your volunteers, hey, y'all, we want to do a drive to make sure that we can get some extra canvassers here. There's a chance, you know, we don't have it in budget to just go ahead and make the direct hires, but there's still a way that we can get these folks. We want you all to help us to get there. So once again, now this tool has also, in addition to incentivizing and empowering your volunteers, you've also now used them to really build up your local resources there on the ground. And for our volunteers, the reason why they're going to want to use it is because, once again, it gives them a voice in how we spend our resources. I don't know anyone who doesn't like feeling consulted, who doesn't like feeling like they actually made a meaningful difference, and basically like they had a real say. You know, and once again, for our volunteers, folks who are coming in faithfully week after week, they're giving us their time and energy, they're spending gas money to get to us. Let's go ahead and give them a voice, you know, and really make them feel as important as they really are. It also helps them to build local support for local priorities, you know. Those are the folks that live there every day, day in, day out. Those are the folks that are in the communities, that are in the neighborhood. And so, you know, it also gives them the ability to help build support locally for the things that are going to matter to them and to the neighbors in the community. And last but not least, it's fun. You know, you can go in there, like I said, and, you know, you have the ability to pull your points together with your friends, and, you know, you can be interactive in that fashion and just kind of, you know, just seeing how many points you can get. I've even heard of a lot of campaigns who did use this in 2012, and they were able to really encourage some real friendly competition. You know, their volunteers, how many points do you have today? Oh, that says you've only racked up 50 points this week? Well, I got 100, you know. It's fun. It's friendly competition, and it keeps them going. So all of these things combined really help to make a pretty powerful programmatic platform for us to really make sure that we're using our volunteers, incentivizing and empowering them, and also building our own local resources as campaign practitioners. So with that said, and I think we actually had this slated for an hour, but that actually brings us to the end of the presentation. So, yeah, keep calm and ask me anything. Are there any questions?
Okay, folks, yeah, just go ahead and press 1 on your phone keypad if you have a question, and I will unmute your mic. And Lee, it looks like you might have outdone yourself once again. No questions so far, but I'll give people a moment to gather their thoughts if they have anything at all.
Yes, yeah. You know what I always say, John? Either I was really thorough, or I bored everyone to death. So I'm hoping I was just really thorough.
Well, let's see. I had a little chat with one person who was not able to hear, but I've given them the URL where they can look for the video that's going to be up in a day or two. Okay, we do have a question from Rachel. She went ahead and texted her question in, and this is, can you show the process for applying to be a part of this program? Is this just for union members of their families or for their families too?
Yeah, this is actually a program that's for everyone. Anyone and everyone can actually join the RePurpose program and begin to get points for their activities. Now, one thing that I do feel the need to kind of throw out there is that because this is a workers' voice tool, we can only set up, it can only basically be active as far as redemptions in workers' voice states. So that right now, just to kind of speak to that a little bit, is we are trying to kind of roll this thing out slowly. Like I said before, we originally did it in 2012, but as a department, we didn't have not even a fourth of the capacity that we have now. So what we're trying to do, and it's kind of been a little dormant since then, folks can still get points for the things that they do, but we haven't really been pushing the program as much because we're really trying to make sure that we do this right. So as of right now, anyone can sign up and earn points in RePurpose. It doesn't matter what state you're in, whether you're a union member or not. However, as far as the redemptions are concerned, at this current time, they're only being offered in workers' voice states. So that is definitely going to expand. We're kind of looking at this election season almost as like a pilot of sorts. It's technically the second pilot, but because we have an amazing capacity now that we didn't have before, we're trying this thing again, and we're trying to roll it out a little bit slower and a lot more intentional than how we did it, before. So I hope that answers your question, and I know that can be a little, I don't want to say frustrating, but it can seem a little backwards. But another part of what we realized about building these tools is that part of the investment is cultural. It's not just as simple as building a tool. I don't care how kick-ass it is. It's not just as simple as building something and then people just do it, So for us, a large part of the rollout has to be doing these trainings, talking to folks about it, letting them know, hey, this is a thing that we're doing. And so, as we begin to roll those things out, we will definitely make sure that in your state, wherever you are, that you know it. But yes, anyone can join. Any other questions?
Well, Rachel says thank you for that. And
Thank you, Rachel.
Don't see any other questions. Maybe we'll give it another few more seconds, and maybe you can imagine the Jeopardy waiting theme song, playing while we're waiting for another question. There you go.
See, I bet you all never got on a conference call with anybody who just kind of like hummed and sang before.
Lee, you're 1 in a million, man. I tell you. Okay, I think we're all done. So thank you to everybody. And just a reminder, we'll send an email out. And if you have any suggestions for how to make trainings better, please be kind with us regarding the glitch at the opening. I've made a few notes so that won't happen again, hopefully. But we'll send that email out right away, and that will include links on how to get a video of this or any of our trainings that we've done so far. And you can also sign up for future trainings as well. So, Lee, have a safe trip home, and everybody, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. And thank you to everyone on the call. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.